So you're going to introduce me and then I'm going to talk for 15 minutes?
Yeah, you're just sort of, well, you don't have to you don't have to talk for that long. You're like the keynote
Oh, got
for
it.
this holiday.
Oh,
It's
I
a
get
live
it.
stream about how small businesses should prepare to meet holiday shoppers.
Oh, okay.
So you can just chat for however long about small businesses that you've worked
Oh,
with and how they prepare for the holidays and how you
oh, got it.
encourage them.
It's the town. It's the people. It's the businesses. All of this. This is home. We gotta support each other.
You gotta go to Casamentos.
Backside Records, Gasadas, Carlson's,
Pandora's,
Runner's Edge, Campbell's,
Mellows.
I tell everyone about this place.
When I go in there, I'm treated as if I'm a member of their family.
Before they even show up here, they have an idea of what they're getting into.
They have all these crazy new flavors every day. I love it.
I knew he'd be the right guy for the job.
When local businesses do well, I think it helps everyone.
Without the businesses, we wouldn't be able to fund what we do.
It's all mixed together. The neighborhood and the business and the owners, it's all one group.
When we support the places we love, we make the places we live better.
Hello, my name is Whitney Cox. I'm on the Small Business Outreach team at Google, and you're watching our holiday live stream workshop. To kick us off, we're joined by a very special guest, Administrator Maria Contreras-Sweet, the leader of the U.S. Small Business Administration and the voice of small business in President Obama's cabinet. Prior to arriving in Washington, among other things, the administrator started 3 businesses, including a community bank in Los Angeles focused on providing access to capital to small and mid-sized businesses. She was also the first Latina to hold a state cabinet post in California, serving as California's Secretary of Business, Transportation, and Housing. Administrator Contreras-Sweet sees entrepreneurship as a force that can change lives and lift whole communities around the world, and we are thrilled to have her join us. Immediately following the Small Business Administrator, you'll hear from the Program Manager of the Let's Put Our Cities on the Map team, Emily Harris. Emily works to drive economic growth by helping small businesses get online and succeed online through programs like this. Lastly, during the final 30 minutes of today's workshop, we'll be hosting a Q&A session where our team will answer any questions that you have about getting your business prepared to reach more customers this holiday shopping season. Simply post your question on social media and use the hashtag SmallBizSeason. I hope you learn a lot and have a great time. And now, here's Administrator Contreras-Sweet to say a few words to kick off this workshop.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to join you here today. I can't tell you how important it is for me to connect with you in real time. I consider myself a small business woman whose small business serves small businesses every day. I started 3 different businesses, was just said, and the last one was a community bank where I had the good fortune of visiting with small businesses on a daily basis. So first and foremost, what I want to say to all of you is thank you. Thank you so much because, you know, our country is experiencing the greatest uptick in job creation that we have ever seen in the history of our country. We are at 72 months of consecutive job growth. Imagine 72 months of consecutive job growth. And I get to lean forward at Cabinet when the Secretary of Labor announces these great numbers to say, but Mr. President, 2/3 of that job growth is coming from the small business community. And so indeed, I want to first and foremost thank you for being the pioneers, the innovators, the disruptors, the people who fill our main streets with destinations, and for all that you're doing for our country in terms of job creation and for fulfilling the economic comeback story. What I would like to do in my few minutes with you here is first just introduce you and more, I should say, welcome you to the SBA, your taxpayer dollars at work. The Small Business Administration, we call it the SBA, is known fundamentally for 3 fundamental services. Our first pillar speaks to what businesses across the country tell me that they need first and foremost, and that is access to really good, sound counseling. We want to make sure that as you're building your plan to start your business, to grow your business, to scale it, to be that unicorn or that fast scale-up company that we all want to be, that you first have the optimal, the best counseling available. So to that end, what we have done is we've gone to say, What do small businesses need on day one? We know that large corporations have vast departments for legal, marketing, research, and we know that you don't have the luxury of that. So one of the things that we did at the SBA is we went out to sort of talk to those people who are innovating and developing really wonderful applications so that you can get your business going as quickly as possible. So I hope you go to sba.gov to learn about the U.S. Small Business Administration's Small Biz Technology Coalition. It's a group of about 20 companies that are offering you services to get your business to get going. That's why I'm at Google today. When I was starting my bank, I used as an example the Google Analytics product, and it helped me understand my customers, where they were, where I should be advertising, and those are the kinds of things that we want to bring to you so you don't have to slow your process down by having to do the research that we've done for you. But SBA, so the counseling network, we also have physical centers for you where you can go to our 68 district offices, or you can go to one of our small business development centers. We also have centers for women, for veterans, and for what I call encore entrepreneurs, those of us that have already had a full career but still want to get out and start our own business. So please go to sba.gov to learn about the counseling programs that we have. The second pillar of SBA is that once you have your counseling, your strategic plan, your marketing assessment, your financial plan, your capital plan in place, the next thing that you want to do is you want to have access to markets, to customers. How do you get customers? And so SBA has a congressional mandate to make sure that we take the U.S. federal government spend. Remember that the federal government is the largest procurer in the world. And what SBA does, it directs 23% of that federal spend to small businesses so that you can get a part of that work and that you can diversify your portfolio and make sure that you're also doing business with your federal government. So again, get certified as a small business and come to look us up to see how you can get more of that government work. We also make introductions to the corporate supply chain, and we're making introductions to the international borderless marketplace. The third pillar of what SBA does is, now that you have your plan in place and you know where your customers are and you're getting some customers, you say, I need the capital to fulfill these contracts or these opportunities or to get my products out to my customers. And so SBA guarantees loans. We provide access to capital to business in a myriad of ways. If you're interested in a microloan, we have micro programs. If you're interested in a conventional loan when you walk into your bank and you're about to be turned down, some people can go back in with a wealthy uncle who can be our guarantor. We want to be that guarantor for you, and so we're your Uncle Sam. We can go into that bank and say that we want to guarantee your loan based on certain criteria. We can guarantee your loan up to 75%. So there you have it. We have counseling, we have access to markets, and we have access to capital programs at every scale, whether you're looking for mezzanine, for venture fund, for seed capital, for, as I said, a micro loan, all the way to private equity. We can do it all. So again, please look up these capital programs. The next thing you say is, okay, so what's the Obama administration and this person I'm listening to right now done for me lately? I know you want to be convinced. So let me just share with you the kinds of changes that we've put in place that I think really can serve you well. Traditionally, when you went into a bank to get SBA lending, you used to have to apply, yes, I'm going to actually say this, you used to have to apply through fax machines. What we've done in the last 3 years at SBA is we've blown up those fax machines, and now you can apply online with eCertify, eSignature technology. We have so much technology on board. For example, another thing is what you told me often across the country was that you'd go apply at a bank and then you'd wait for months for a slow maybe before you were turned down at a bank. We wanted to address that for you. So we put up a product that we call LINC, L-I-N-C for capital. And it behaves a little bit like, if you'll indulge me, a little bit like TurboTax. You complete a small survey and we route your answers to banks that have an interest in your credit profile. This is getting more women, more millennials, more people of difference, of communities of difference, to be able to access capital much more quickly. We've already had about 300,000 hits on this, so the matches that we're making have been incredible. So that's one thing that we've done. Another thing is you've said to us, you know what? I want a borderless marketplace. When I think of the Googles of the world or the Facebooks and so forth, they don't think of themselves as a local Silicon Valley product. They think of themselves as serving the world, and you want to be the same. And so what we now do is we actually have a program that we call STEP, where you can go to your state government, and we actually help finance a trip for you to go to the Netherlands, to any of our strategic allies around the world, to Germany, to Japan, so that you can learn about the international opportunities that might be awaiting you. So we hope that you'll look up the STEP program in your own state government. And if you're so fortunate, we hope that you will be, to actually get a contract from abroad, we can help you by providing you a loan that is 90% guaranteed. Imagine the opportunity to walk into a bank and know that the SBA is guaranteeing your loan up to 90%. Those are just a few of the examples of things that we're doing. But as a result of the new technology that we've put in place, and the entire frame of my personal initiative that I've launched at SBA, which I affectionately call the Smart, Bold, and Accessible SBA. The SMART is about all of the smart systems that we've optimized at SBA, like building this technology coalition, like putting up a program that you asked us for. You asked us for, you said, it takes so long to start my business. So yes, there are apps, but I need to get into cities and actually apply for my business and for my business permitting. And so we launched a campaign that we call Startup in a Day, where we have challenged mayors across the country to create online solutions so that when you show up at that city hall, that you get your permitting right away. And so as a result, we now have over 100 mayors across the country who accepted that challenge and are pursuing technological solutions for you. Those are just a bit of the examples around the SMART initiative. The BOLD, again, is about bolder market making. You said, I want to be able to sell to the big corporations. How do I become a part of their supply chain? And so we launched a program that we call Supplier Connection. And that is where we connect you to corporations and we connect you again to the federal government. But what you said also is, when I get a contract from the federal government, it takes so long to pay that we take too long to pay you. So the president charged us with a program that we call Quick Pay. We now pay small businesses who do business with the federal government in just 10 days. So we're trying to get back to you so that you have the cash flow that you need as quickly as possible, and you can deploy it and redeploy it, and you can grow your business. So those are some of the bolder initiatives that we put in place to make sure that you are taking bolder steps to make sure that you get the optimal markets that you can handle at this point of your journey. And the A is about accessible to everybody. We want to make sure that we are providing solutions for women, for example. I'm here in Silicon Valley, and I can count how many of these companies have been started by women and has been scaled to the global levels. So we want to get you there too. So we've launched a program that we call Innovator, and the last three letters are HER, because we want to make certain that women are also disrupting and hacking and transforming and addressing the pain points that they experience. No pun intended, but I know every woman listening to me right now, when I say pain points, I know you all feel as I do. We want a woman to reinvent the mammogram machine, as an example. So please get out there, women, and know that we're there, and we have special programs and offices to help you get started as well. We have special programs to make sure that you get contracts. We've put up programs to help you get certified. And we have fought with all of our departments across the federal government service to make sure that you get more set-asides on a sole source basis, just like other populations in our country do, the veterans who deserve it. We believe women deserve that too. Here's what I'm doing of late. We just went to the Library of Congress, the most respected library we think in the world, to ask them how we're doing in terms of our programs. We said, come in and audit us because we want to learn what we can do better. And do you know what they said? They said that SBA is over-indexed in terms of the funds that we're getting to women compared to our conventional counterparts. Second, they said that when women manage capital, that they're more apt to invest in other women and minorities as well, and that women businesses are performing as well as their male counterparts. So we want to make sure that we're accessible to everybody, the LGBT community, that we've launched the Business Builder across the country. If you're a vet, we have a Boots to Business program to help you transition out of the military. Or if you're already out, we have a program that we call Reboot. Again, these are all to make certain that we are addressing all the segmentations of this beautiful country of ours. So please look us up, sba.gov, to learn more about how we can service you, remembering that the SBA is not your grandfather's SBA. We are smarter, bolder, and more accessible. Finally, let me just close with this, my own personal story and why this has been a passion of mine and why I was so fortunate to have the president call me and ask me to be a part of his cabinet. And that is that I'm an immigrant. I was born in Mexico, and I came here at the age of 5. And my grandmother, when I wrote her a little note and said, Abuelita, guess what? I just became the 3rd grade milk monitor. She said, it's not the titles you have. It's what you do with the titles you have. You have to have impact. And I know that small businesses think about that every day. They don't just think about, I want to become wealthy. They think about, how can I create change? How can I do something different in my community to become a destination, to do something here? And so that's why we're lifting entrepreneurs across the country during this holiday season. We hope that you'll remember to shop local, to shop small, support one another, and help us lift this great country of ours so we can continue to be the democracy that is the leader of the free world, and we can continue to have social mobility like mine. My grandmother always said, you know, if you serve others well, someday, although we've been a family of migrant workers, you might be able to actually work in an office and to be a secretary. The good Lord heard her prayers, and so did President Obama, and allowed me to hold office and to be a cabinet secretary. Those are the stories that we want to replicate over and over. Thanks for listening in and for staying tuned so that you can hear the rest of this program. Emily's got a great story to tell you, and just the workshop that will follow thereforth is going to be, I think, a really great experience. Stay tuned, and again, continue to do the great job that you're doing across the country. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your afternoon today, and continue to build the jobs that deepen our democracy and create the great America that we all love. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Hi, my name is Emily Harris, and I'm the Program Manager for Let's Put Our Cities on the Map. I am so pleased to welcome you to today's workshop. Let's Put Our Cities on the Map, also known as Get Your Business Online, is a program that we run here at Google to help and educate small businesses. And with this program, we're on a mission to help small businesses in every community get online and make the most out of the web. But we know that we can't do it alone, so we've partnered with thousands of small business organizations across the country who are helping us in this mission. We want to take a moment to thank our co-sponsors and supporters for today's workshop. I would like to thank the administrator again for her welcoming remarks. We are thrilled to be a part of the Small Business Technology Coalition, and we want to thank the Small Business Administration for helping us to spread the word about today's workshop. To learn more, visit sba.gov/techcoalition. We also want to give a special thank you to the SBA field offices across the country who are hosting this workshop live for small businesses in their classroom. We'd also like to recognize Startup Nation, who helped us promote today's workshop, and they're hosting it live on their website. Startup Nation is a website where you can find everything you need to build your business and live your dreams. So visit their website to learn more. And finally, we'd like to give a heartfelt thank you to organizations hosting this workshop live for small businesses in their local classrooms. We know that your coaching and support is driving economic growth in your communities. We want to thank you for being an extension of our team. So now let's talk a little bit about why you've joined us here today. We're going to share with you 3 things that you can do to get your business ready for holiday shoppers. The reality is that holiday shopping is already starting. 25% of shoppers start before Halloween, which is just a few days away. And 61% of shoppers research their holiday purchases before Thanksgiving. So now is the time to prepare your business to reach more shoppers this holiday season. And mobile will play a huge part, so it's important that your business can be found on mobile devices. Last year, 54% of holiday shoppers said they plan to use their phones to shop during spare moments. These moments are when your business needs to show up and show off. Today's presentation will offer a few quick ways to boost your online presence. And here's specifically what we're going to cover. First, we'll teach you how to create your free business listing so you'll appear when customers are searching for you on Google Search and Maps. Then, we'll share some tips about how to improve your website. Lastly, we'll explain how you can easily get started with advertising to reach even more customers during the shopping season. And don't forget to submit your questions on your favorite social channel using the hashtag #SmallBizSeason. So now, here's an example of how small businesses are reaching their customers for the holidays.
For a small business, the holidays can be the busiest time of year. And putting photos online helps us make an instant connection with customers. I'm Heather Mohorn, and this is my toy store, Momo's Treehouse.
I'm Mo Lee, and this is my dad, Tony, and this is our family business, the Palace Chinese Restaurant.
I'm Stacia Cohagen, and this is Shag Hair Studio.
Around the holidays, we'll get a lot of customers who don't visit us during the rest of the year.
For all of those people who don't celebrate Christmas and Christmas Eve, they can come to the Palace.
9 months out of the year, I see regular clients, but starting in September, October, it's Santa time. It's really just kind of the start of something fun.
Customers today are used to having critical information about a business instantly.
We take photos of our customers, we take photos of our food, and all of that gets put on Google. It's a way to present ourselves to people who have never experienced what it's like to come to the restaurant.
If somebody were to get online and search, they can see before and after pictures, things that are going on in the salon.
A good photo not only shows what we have in the store, but also conveys the feeling of being in the store.
So much of tasting is through the eyes. And even before people have come in, they've already seen the beautiful photos online, and it's a huge leg up.
谷歌对我们有很大的帮助。
Thanks to Administrator Contreras-Sweet for kicking off this holiday live stream event. She has a lot of great resources that she mentioned at sba.gov, and I strongly encourage you to check out their Small Business Tech Coalition, which Google is excited to be a part of. And thank you also to our program manager, Emily Harris, for explaining how the Let's Put Our Cities on the Map program and partners help small businesses grow. We're really thankful for our partners out there. So thank you to all of the work you guys are doing to help businesses in your communities grow. Today, we no longer go online, we live online. Every day we turn to whatever device is on hand to act on our needs. Google calls these intent-driven moments micro moments. They are the I want to know, I want to go, I want to do, or I want to buy moments. Google helps you reach these potential customers when the timing is just right, so you can be there as a small business in these moments that matter. Next up, we have Stacia Kudrez, a speaker for the Let's Put Our Cities on the Map team. She's been helping businesses with internet marketing for almost 20 years. She will share some strategies for growing your business online and how you can reach these customers in those moments that matter. But first, here's a short video that illustrates some of these moments.
ask us all the time, how do I get into work?
Are they watching me get dressed?
No.
Okay.
I'll count you in.
Hey everybody, third time is a charm, right? So hopefully you all can hear me now. Welcome to today's holiday live stream workshop, Help Holiday Shoppers Find Your Business. My name is Stasia, and I'll be talking about 3 ways to get your business noticed on Google just in time for holiday shopping season. So you just watched a video illustrating situations people have every day all around the world. Could you relate to any of them? I did. The one that really resonated for me was the new day, new start moment. So last year, I realized that I was probably spending way too much time sitting and staring at my computer screen. So like the woman in the video, searching Google for running apps, I spent the month of December researching fitness trackers. After comparing features and prices and reviews, I finally figured out what I wanted. After Christmas, I went to a local sporting goods store with a holiday gift card and I bought the tracker that I wanted. I love it and I've worn it every day since, and after about 30 minutes it'll probably buzz and tell me to get moving because I've only done 20% of my steps today. Anyway, people all around the world share similar experiences every single day. So let's talk about connecting with customers in those moments that matter. So think about your potential customers. What are their I want to know, I want to go, I want to do, or I want to buy moments? Keeping this in mind, I challenge every person watching to examine and possibly reframe their approach to presenting their business online. Rather than focusing on what you want people to know about your products and services, think about what they need, what they want to know. And then after doing that, you can leverage these micro moments, using them as opportunities to connect with people online. Start by trying to anticipate the wants and needs of your potential customers. That's step 1. Then, think about how people might search for a solution on Google. That is, what words and phrases would he or she type in? And that's step 2. Third, work on getting your business to appear in the results. And finally, let's hope you get a click that brings a visitor to your website and then possibly a lead or a sale. So let's take a closer look at a Google search results page to see where your business can appear. At the top, you see a word or a phrase that the searcher typed in. That's called a search query. Below the search query, you see the search results, which are a list of relevant info tailored for that search from that place in the world at that moment in time. At the top, you see images, which are shopping ads placed by retailers. Next, you see a text ad, identified with an ad label. Advertisers pay when searchers click their ads. Below the text ad, you see the start of the natural or organic results. Organic results are web pages that Google's algorithm identifies as the most useful matches for this search. Unlike ads, clicks on organic results are free. Ads and organic results are displayed by separate algorithms. It's important to note that websites cannot pay Google to appear in the organic results, and advertising does not influence a website's organic presence or position. Finally, on the right sidebar, you see a section that provides useful info for the searcher. This business info is called a Google My Business listing. Google My Business is a free tool that helps you manage your info as it appears on Google Search and Maps. This workshop talks about helping your business appear in these 3 areas of Google and beyond. So today's session will cover the 3 things that you can do right now to help holiday shoppers find your business online. In the first section, Be Found by Local Customers, I'll show you how to connect with local searchers using Google My Business. In the second section, Be Found Everywhere on All Devices, I'll talk about optimizing your website for the organic search results, focusing on making your site mobile friendly. And third, in Be Found with Online Advertising, I'll show you how to promote your products and services on Google and partner websites. Every single month, there are billions of searches on Google. Research shows that people are more concerned with their needs in the moment than any particular brand. So that means that even if your business is brand new and unknown, you've got a shot at winning a searcher's business if your online presence helps them in a critical moment. Let's talk about the first thing that you can do right now to help your business be found by local holiday shoppers. Set up Google My Business. Google My Business is a free listing, and it can show your critical business info to searchers across Google Search and Maps on all devices. If a searcher types in the name of a specific business, detailed info can appear on the side of the search results page, including photos, a map, address, phone numbers, hours of operation, and reviews. Using Google My Business, you can create or claim a free listing. These screenshots show how a business could appear on Google for a searcher nearby. Remember my micro-moment story researching those fitness trackers? Once I decide what product I want, I'm admittedly impatient. So if I searched for a sports equipment store near me from my office in Nashville, Tennessee, I would see options in close proximity. If I did the same search from here, I'm in Mountain View, California today, I would see different results. That's why it's difficult to overemphasize the importance of mobile. Mobile search has been steadily on the rise. It's now about half of all searches on Google. People searching on mobile phones frequently look for businesses nearby, adding the phrase "near me." Google data shows that near me searches grew 146% year over year from 2014 to 2015. Here's another interesting stat. 1 in 3 smartphone users purchased from a company other than the one they intended because of info provided in the moment that they needed it. So let's show you how to get started. Start by visiting gybo.com/business and enter your business name to see if or how your business appears across Google. If you see your business info might be incorrect on Google, it means that the listing hasn't been claimed or verified by the business owner, so the info could be outdated on Google. If this is your business, you can verify it by clicking the button labeled Verify Your Business Info. If you see your business isn't on the map, the diagnostic tool can't find any info, and your business might not appear on Google. So click Add Your Business Info, and you'll be guided through the setup. Now, you'll enter info about your business. So I want you to pay attention to spelling and capitalization. This is what potential customers could see on Google. Here are a few guidelines to help. First, enter the complete official street address for the business. Don't include extra details like cross streets or nearby landmarks. You can add a suite or office numbers on the separate address line. P.O. boxes are not allowed. You also need to select a category for the business. So start by thinking of a category that you'd like to use, and then type in a few letters to see what options appear below. You must choose an existing category. You can't edit or create them. It's okay if you can't find the perfect category. Just choose something close. All right, how many of you work from home? Many local service area businesses operate out of private homes. In this case, the residential address should be kept private. These businesses can still appear on Google Maps, but Google will not display the address or offer driving directions. Here's how to do it. At the bottom of the page, look for the section labeled "I deliver goods and services to my customers at their location." Check the radio button labeled Yes, and then click the Continue button. Now you'll set a service area. You can define that service area by adding regions, cities, zip codes, or specifying a radius around your business. Keep in mind that the service area is intended for a local presence on Google Maps. It's not a way to advertise your business nationwide or worldwide. Even if your business ships products or offers services anywhere, the radius should reflect a local area. Google doesn't have an official recommendation for the size of that service area. It really depends. For example, in a densely populated area like New York City, the radius might be 5 miles. But in a rural area, the radius might be 100 miles. So choose a distance that makes sense for your business. If the business has a service area and a storefront open to customers, check the box labeled "I also serve customers at my business address." And this allows the address and the service area to appear on Google Maps. When you're done, click Continue to go to the next step. Now, review the business address one more time. You can click the back button to make any corrections. If everything looks good, check the box to confirm that you're authorized to manage this business and agree to Google's terms of service. And then click Continue. Once you set up Google My Business, be sure to complete the verification process. You will see your options. Most businesses verify by requesting a postcard. The postcard is mailed to the business address with a verification code. You can make the most of your listing by adding more info like phone numbers, business hours, your website URL, photos, and more. If you have a storefront and you want to give people a sneak peek of what's inside, you can request a quote for a virtual tour created by trusted photographers certified by Google. Again, visit gybo.com/business to get started. Many businesses have special hours during the holiday season, extending shopping hours some days and closing on others. You can include that information on Google My Business to help shoppers know when you're open for business. Let me show you how to do it. So if you're going to set it up, sign into Google My Business and edit your business info. You must first add your regular hours of operation. You can click the pencil icon next to the sections to make edits. Next, edit the Add Special Hours section and add any and all dates that will have irregular hours. Just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you have any questions about the topics that I'm covering today, submit them via social media. You can use the hashtag #SmallBizSeason. And also make sure that your posts are publicly viewable, otherwise we won't be able to read them and answer them. All right, back to the presentation. Let's talk about the second thing that you can do to grow your business online. Build and optimize a business website. The goal is to be found by searchers everywhere, no matter where they're searching from or what device they are using. Once again, when someone visits Google and types in a word or a phrase, the search query, a list of relevant results is displayed. Organic results appear in the center well of the page. Your next question might be, well, what words and phrases do people search for, particularly people who are shopping? So start by brainstorming a list. How would people search for your business? And how would people search if they knew what type of business they wanted, but they didn't know the name of yours? How would people search if they had an issue, a need, a desire, but they didn't know what business, product, or service could help them? Your goal is to build a comprehensive list of search queries related to your products and services. You can use this list as a starting point when you're ready to start helping your website appear in the search results. So let's start with a website. You want to build that for your business, and whether you've had a site for years already or you're just getting started today, I'm going to give you some things to think about to help it appear in Google's organic search results and to make it more useful for the visitors. First of all, does your website have a mobile-friendly design? Next, does your website have well-written content, information that people are looking for? So refer back to that list of words and phrases that you created about your business, your products, and your services. Your website should include content about all of these topics. If it doesn't, use the list to generate ideas and create that website content. And as you add it to the site, keep it logically organized so visitors can find what they're looking for. A site search is helpful. A compelling picture or a video speaks 1,000 words, and having high-quality images on your site can help sell your products and services. Another tip, ask yourself, what do I want website visitors to do next? There might be many options. They could call your store, they could request directions or place an order. Whatever that next step should be, encourage visitors by including clear, prominent calls to action. Another tip, make it easy to contact you. Consider adding a phone number, email address, and a business address to every web page on your site, plus a contact page with all of these details. And finally, once people find your site, do they have any reason to return? For many people, the answer is no. So try to be creative and think about what might give people a reason to come back and share your site with others. Maybe that's a monthly giveaway, a library of video tutorials, or coupons. People search for answers whenever they have an I want to know, go, do, or buy moment. And so it's really not surprising that about half of all Google searches now happen on mobile phones. So let's talk about mobile optimization of your website. More and more websites are being built from the start with technology that automatically optimizes the format to fit the device it's being viewed on. This responsive web design adjusts the site's appearance to best present the info based on the size of the screen. Using a mobile-friendly design is an important first step here, but I'm going to give you a few additional tips working within that mobile-friendly template. First, make navigation easy and intuitive. For example, website visitors expect that clicking the logo will return them to the homepage. Another tip, keep your navigation menu short. On a desktop version of a website, say a luxurious 15-inch screen, visitors usually won't have any trouble using drop-down menus or sub-navigations. But if you compare that to someone who's trying to navigate a website on a 4-inch screen, it's more difficult, right? That's why mobile-optimized sites use relatively simple navigations and large, easy-to-click buttons and links. Now, really think about the homepage. Chances are that's the first web page a mobile visitor will see. What critical info does that visitor need? A phone number? An address? Make sure that this info is front and center. Another tip, include a site search. Mobile users are often in a hurry, and a site search can help them find what they want fast. It should be easy to find it and easy to use and return the best results first. If possible, include bells and whistles like autocomplete and filters. Third, make it easy to complete tasks. For example, allow visitors to use the site without registering for an account. And if they want to buy something, give them the option to check out as a guest. If your site has forms, minimize the number of fields, especially required fields. Autofill whenever possible. If it must be a big form, use clearly labeled progress bars to help people get through them. Finally, Optimize for usability on all pages. Research shows that with mobile design, it's best to take an all or nothing approach. In other words, build a website that optimizes all the web pages for mobile devices, not just a few pages within that site. All right, ready to test your site? You ready? Well, here's a website for you to try out. It's called Google's Test My Site tool, and the URL is testmysite.thinkwithgoogle.com, and the URL is written at the bottom if I said that too quickly. The test is going to measure mobile friendliness. That is, the quality of the experience that site visitors have when browsing on a phone. To be mobile friendly, the site should have tappable buttons, be easy to navigate from a small screen, and have the most important info front and center. The test also measures mobile speed, or how long it takes the site to load on a phone. Keep in mind that it's not just the strength of the web connection that determines mobile speed, but also the elements on the web pages. And third, it measures desktop speed as a comparison. After evaluating your site, the test generates a report with a list of specific suggestions that you can implement to improve your score. For anyone out there who doesn't have a website yet, or for anyone who wants to see another option, you can access a free offer through our program. Google partnered with a company called StartLogic to offer a free website and domain for a year. Access the offer by visiting gybo.com/business and clicking the link near the bottom that says Build a Free Website. Okay, now that we've talked about ways to directly improve your site for desktop and mobile, let's talk about other ways to promote it. Start by doing an inventory of all of your offline materials, like your written estimates and your packaging, your business cards, gift certificates, vehicles. And you want to include your website URL on all of them. Second, ask happy customers to write online reviews. More and more potential customers start by reading reviews to help them make a purchase decision. Once you've verified your listing on Google My Business, you also have the ability to respond to reviews left on Google. Third, use email. It's fast and cost-effective, but be careful not to overwhelm your customers. Before you send an email, ask yourself, is there a good reason for every person to open this email? If not, you risk them immediately deleting it. Last but not least, use social media to build a fan base and nurture customer relationships online. You can also use it to actively grow your business. For example, if your business runs by appointment and you have a last-minute cancellation, you can use social media to let people know that you have an unexpected opening. All right, so we've covered creating Google My Business, creating a listing, and also creating a search-friendly, mobile-friendly website. Let's talk about the third thing that you can do right now. Advertise online to promote your products and your services. So let's review that search engine results page one last time. Advertisements can appear at the top and the bottom of the page, above and below the organic results. The images that you see at the top are shopping ads, promoting products sold by online retailers. Text ads can appear below. Ads are paid placements. Advertisers compete against each other, bidding in a real-time auction for the opportunity to show their ads on the search results page. So let's think back to my example micro moment when I realized that I'd been sitting too long and I wanted to get a gadget to help me get me moving. When I started my online research, Google's results showed ads for various brands and styles of fitness trackers. And that's one reason that online advertising is so effective, because ads are not randomly broadcasted. They are shown to potential customers who are looking for them already. It's important to note that advertisers are not charged when ads appear. They pay only if searchers click the ads. That's why this advertising model is called pay-per-click or cost-per-click. Ads can also appear on partner websites, collectively known as the Google Display Network. The Display Network includes millions of websites, including Google sites like Gmail and YouTube. The Display Network helps advertisers show ads after a Google search, when people are consuming relevant content. Ads are displayed when it makes sense, based on criteria like the content of the page and demographic info. The display network provides access to a wide range of customers and allows advertisers to showcase products and services at different points in the buying cycle. Another bonus, with the display network, you can try different ad formats, including image ads. Today, we're talking about AdWords Express, a platform that requires minimal ongoing management. The system generates keywords and automatically fine-tunes bidding, so you can get the most clicks for your budget. And you don't have to have a website to show an ad. You only pay if a person clicks your ad or calls, and there are no activation fees, cancellation fees, contracts, or minimum commitments. Ads can be turned on or off at any time without penalty. Ready to launch an ad? Here's how you start. Visit gybo.com/awexpress. You'll be guided through a few steps, entering business details, choosing a category for the product or service that you're advertising, writing a text ad, deciding where to show the ad, and setting a monthly budget. Once these steps are complete, AdWords Express handles the rest. If you're interested in advertising on Google and you need help getting started or managing your campaigns, try the Google Partners program. Google Partners are online professionals, agencies, marketers, and specialists that have been trained and certified by Google. The Google Partner Badge shows that these partners passed certification exams. They're up to date with the latest product knowledge, and they meet Google's performance requirements. Start by visiting google.com/partners. From here, you can search for partners filtering by location, budget, and areas of expertise. You can find badged Google partners worldwide who know your industry and specialize in what you need. All right, let's wrap up today's session. We covered 3 things that you can do right now to help holiday shoppers find your business and show your products and services in those critical I want to know, go, do, and buy moments. Here are some suggested next steps. First, create or claim your free business listing at gybo.com/business. Follow through with the verification process so you can make updates to your info. Second, build or improve your business website. Your business needs a search-friendly, mobile-friendly site. And third, try advertising on Google so you can target offers to people at the moment that they're looking for you. Before using many of Google's products and services, you need to create or sign into a free Google account. A Google account is a username and password that lets you sign in once to access connected products like Gmail and Google Docs and Google My Business. You can use a Gmail address or you can register another email address if you prefer. Thank you so much for listening today. If you want to learn more about any of the topics covered in today's workshop, you can refer to this slide for the URLs, and of course you can always do a Google search too. On behalf of the entire Let's Put Our Cities on the Map team, I wish you great success this holiday shopping season and beyond. Our live Q&A will begin in just a few moments. Please use this time to submit any questions you have via social media with the hashtag #SmallBizSeason, and make sure that your posts are publicly viewable.
You make the beat go, you make the beat go, 1, 2, 3. You make me move, you make me move, you make me move, you make me move my feet. I gotta move my feet. Oh. You make me move my feet.
Jesse, you're gonna need more safety mops. Huh? Safety mops! My wife says they're hazel, but I think they're green.
I think it's important to know where you come from. Our people have lived here for thousands of years, and I'm still connected to it. It gives me power. My name is Sean McCormick. I'm the founder and CEO of Manitoba Mucklucks. Manitoba Mucklucks is a Aboriginal-owned footwear brand based in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Muckluck is a fur boot Native Americans wore for the last 10,000 years, as long as they've been in North America. For the last 400 years, Aboriginal culture has been turned upside down. The mission for Manitoba is to change our community's futures for the better.
The biggest challenge is telling our story to more and more people. Most consumers don't know what a muckluck is. They've never heard of a muckluck. And so we had to find a way to get in front of people who are looking for warm winter boots, or authentic boots, or comfortable slippers. We sought out Google AdWords so that we could find those consumers and they could find us. It democratizes commerce. It allows us the same level of exposure as billion-dollar competitors.
We've gone from that first year selling 2,000 pairs to about 200,000 pairs this year.
Through our growth, the community grows.
In order to ensure that these ancient art forms stay alive, we work with Aboriginal artists that are still doing the traditional arts like muckluck making or birch bark biting.
Birch bark biting is drawing with your teeth instead of drawing with a pencil.
We put it on our website, we sell it to consumers across the world, and the artist gets 100% of the proceeds. The message is you can take care of yourself. The message is you can share and you can help others. The message is you can do what you want to do.
Of course it's important, because it's who we are as people.
Thanks so much to Stasia, Emily, and Administrator Contreras-Sweet. And now I'm joined by Stasia and Ryan Greenberg. Ryan is a program manager for Google's customer experience team. His team manages relationships with over 250 businesses who provide feedback directly to Google. We're so excited to have him join us as a Google product expert to help answer questions from the audience.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
As a reminder, you can still submit your questions on social media using the hashtag #SmallBizSeason. So that's small, B-I-Z, season. And now for our first question. Q&A is my favorite part.
Me too, me too.
Who's it going to be?
All right, so I will go ahead and jump in. We have a few questions on Google My Business that we'll start with first, because you recently talked about Google My Business, and that was such a helpful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why are P.O. boxes not allowed? This is a question coming from @ZoraDigital on Twitter. Why are P.O. boxes not allowed?
Hey, Zora Digital. Because Google My Business is that the product is so closely tied to Google Maps, the whole idea behind it is to help people find physical locations, whether that's a storefront or it's a business that operates within a particular service area. So if you have a P.O. box address, we don't really know where that is. The maps can't physically or geographically locate that. So that is why P.O. boxes are not allowed.
I'll follow up with another question about Google My Business from a business at the Newberry area Small Business Development Center. Hello, Newberry. What if someone else claims my listing and I can't access it? Stasia, I'll point this one to you again.
Okay, well, so what you'll do here, if someone else has claimed the business, and sometimes it might even be you, but using a different account that you can't remember the username and password and get into it. So what you'll do is you'll go through the same process that I showed in the presentation. You'll go to gybo.com/business, and you'll do a search for the name of your business, and you'll see it in that list because it's already been verified. But you want to click on it to follow that process of claiming it, and then you'll be prompted to ask for the admin rights for this particular listing. So what will happen then is it will send an email to the address that owns the listing with instructions for transferring ownership to you, the rightful owner. So Google, the help guidelines say to wait about 2 weeks for this process to go through. If after 2 weeks, if you haven't heard back, if the ownership hasn't been transferred to you, then what you can do is you can reply to the email that's automatically sent from Google support, and then they will take it back from there. Whitney, yesterday, we were chatting about this at lunch, also had a really great suggestion. If I know who owns the listing, and let's just say that's Ryan, I can be like, hey Ryan, can you transfer that listing over to me? So that's also an easy way to do it. If you happen to know who that person is, you can just ask them as well.
That might be a little bit speedier if you can make that happen. All right, Ryan, we have not heard from you yet today, so I'm going to go ahead and direct some questions your way now.
Ready for it.
We have a bunch of questions about advertising, and I know you are a Google advertising expert. So what is the minimum budget for Google AdWords Express?
Great question. One of the great parts of AdWords Express is that you don't have to have a minimum budget. However, on a technical side and knowing how it works, you'll want to have a budget that's healthy for your business. So that includes, at least maybe $1 or so a day. Obviously that varies based off of what company you are. Potentially your average bid might be around 10 cents, or maybe it's $1. So knowing that you'd probably want a few clicks every day, you want a budget that meets the expectation of how much return you'd like to have. So how many clicks you'd like to get. So I would say around, at least a few dollars a day would probably be your best bet.
Great. And that question was from Sela Sarin on Twitter. Thank you for your question. I have a follow-up question. What are the types of things you can learn from your Google AdWords Express campaign? Like what can you learn from just tracking and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. AdWords Express is a wonderful option for small and medium businesses, first off, just because it automates a lot of processes that can be kind of difficult. Like, you can tell us a little bit about what type of business you have, and then we can provide keywords that go along with it. So some of the great metrics that you would see are things that you might have heard of in AdWords, like how many clicks you received on an ad, or how many calls you got based off of an ad that someone saw. So those are all the same, and one of the things we're most excited about is Google Analytics is now able to connect with your AdWords Express accounts. So you can see all of that great data now on the AdWords Express side.
Wonderful. Okay, some helpful answers there. Eva Zaks of the Naples Score chapter asks, how much is too much advertising? I'm going to punt this to both of you because I feel like you both probably have some thoughts on this. Do you want to start, Ryan?
Sure. It is the million-dollar question, how much is too much? And obviously that is a very different number for different companies. But I'd like to take a business look at it here on something like return on investment. You want to make sure that the dollars that you're spending in advertising are coming back to you and you're making money off of that. So a lot of way you could look at that is how many sales are you generating from ads. If you feel like you're hitting about a net zero, maybe that's your sweet spot. But obviously every dollar you want to spend, you want to be able to track that back and make sure that you're making money off of it.
Okay. Stasia?
His answer is perfect. I don't have a whole lot more to add other than if you are working, we mentioned the Google Partners and working with the Partners program. That is a perfect question to talk to the partners that you're working with, because with Google Analytics, you really are able to track your return on investment. And so that's one of the things that I would say, as long as you are making money, if this is a profitable campaign, advertise away. But the numbers will show you. It's not a matter of guesswork. Google's actually going to give you the data that you need to really clearly see whether or not advertising is a good idea for your business or not. So make that decision based on the data, not on a gut feeling about whether or not advertising is a good idea or a bad idea.
Perfect.
So my follow-up is advertising a good idea for all small businesses? Ryan?
Yeah, I think one of the great things about GMB, or Google My Business, which Stacia talked about earlier, is that's a great way to at least get your name out there and help you decide trying out advertising for the first time. And AdWords Express is that perfect entry-level option. I think most businesses, if they attempt it, can find great success. And I think the hardest part is just trying it and testing out that theory. But I've seen many businesses of every walk of life and type be pretty successful on AdWords.
Stacia, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such a low bar of commitment. There's no startup fee, there's no cancellation fee. You can cancel it and turn it off at any time. So it's really just a matter of, it does not take long to set it up. I mean, you can really be up and running in a matter of a few minutes. and then it'll give you the reports to see whether or not it is making sense and it's bringing in business for your business, whether it's large or it's small. I have seen many small businesses have great success with their advertising campaigns. I'll also take it one step further to say that it's not just a matter of having a great ad too. If you are going to be advertising, I want to make sure that it either connects to a phone call and you're able to make the sale over the phone, or if you're connecting to a website, that website is able to close the sale. So it's not just that one piece. You really need to look at your whole online marketing strategy holistically. But advertising can do great things combined with other stuff.
All right, Tim Gaskell from a SCORE workshop in Naples has a question. He says, I have been told in marketing classes that it takes a person 3 times of seeing or hearing something for it to stick with them. But how do you not over-advertise to annoy potential customers and drive them away? Good question. Stasia, I'll kick this one to you first.
Hi, Tim.
Tim.
Tim, I've heard 7. Have you guys heard that? I've heard
7.
Yeah,
I've heard both. It's probably out there, yeah.
Well, I don't want to get too technical. If we wanted to go to the one extreme, there's a type of online advertising called remarketing, where you can actually show ads to folks who have previously visited your website. And there are things that you can do working with the Google partners that would be your best bet on this, where you can actually set limits. If someone sees an ad X many times, then they don't see it again. So you can actually create a set of very sophisticated rules that control who's going to see an ad and how often and on what frequency. So that's one of the nice things about advertising with Google, is that the software is going to give you the tools that you need to actually put the limits on and make that work. But going back to the data, again, it's not the gut feeling. It's how many times do you need to show an ad to make that advertising campaign profitable for your business.
Yeah, and I have another thought too is, she talked a little bit about the partners, which is a great platform to be reaching out to customers. Another is with search, and search is a great opportunity to mitigate that, knowing that people who are actually searching for you are going to see those ads because it's connected to those keywords. So you're kind of already vetting people who might otherwise be saturated or not interested. You're showing it to them because they've already shown interest. So I think that's a great way of knowing, if they were looking for you, you're going to show them what they want, and hopefully that doesn't annoy them because that's why they're searching.
Right, that fitness tracker thing, I didn't mind seeing the ads because the ads were showing me the options that I was searching for based on my query. So it's really, that's one of the nice things about Google is when you do a search, if I'm looking for fitness trackers, I'm not going to see ads for cakes because Google is very careful about showing results, whether that's advertisements or Google My Business listing or the organic results that are tailored to that query. So it's never going to be an irrelevant result that starts to annoy me because I'm looking for trackers and I'm seeing something else.
Tim has another question. What kind of phrasing attracts customers, and what kind of phrasing should you avoid with your advertising campaigns? Ryan?
Yeah. We know now lots of people are very used to using the internet. We know what seems spammy or we're skeptical about. So I think people are very wary of what they see and what they click on. No one wants to get viruses. That's sort of the common concern, which is valid, and I think we've all probably felt it ourselves. And so I believe when you're crafting these ads and you want them to be interesting to people and something that individuals are clicking on, you want to be professional. You want to sort of rule out any of the potential scares that could be there. Also, if you're targeting a particular type of audience, like let's say you sell skateboards, you might be targeting a younger audience. Using younger terminology and fun, in a fun context isn't necessarily a bad option, and I think a lot of people have seen great, great turnout with that. So there's a lot of flexibility within this.
Anything to add, Stasia?
Yeah, that's a great point. One of the things that I do is I actually, if I'm thinking about advertising, working with someone, I go and I do some searches and I look at what other advertisers are writing. So you can start just by seeing what's out there to get some inspiration, some ideas about how you would like to present your business. Another thing too, not to keep going back to the partners, but with AdWords Express, you can sign in anytime and you can change your ads, so you can keep experimenting with that, but you can also work with a partner to have them run what's called a split test, an experiment to compare different versions of your ad copy. And they can figure out, again, using the data to figure out which ad copy is actually working better for your business. So there are all sorts of things that you can do to finesse your advertising campaign to get the most out of that copy. The AdWords Help Center and the AdWords Express Help Center have lots of really useful articles and tutorials that can help you get started writing your ads. So there's a lot of information that Google has out there that can help you learn more and get off on the right foot.
So if you have the time to spend doing this research and testing these ads, you can find what you need to know and figure out what phrasing works for your customers best.
Yeah, or just start with a Google search and see what other people are writing.
All right, we have a question from Lompoc Valley Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau workshop. For a business in a co-working space, they are running into a problem listing their business because the co-working space itself already has a business listing using that address. What should they do? So I'll actually take that answer. So you cannot have separate listings for a co-working space. So you can use the co-working space as the main listing and then point the website at that listing to a website that explains better what businesses are operating at that co-working space. Anything to add, Stasia?
Yeah, but the listing itself, the businesses that are tenants or clients of the co-working space are currently not eligible to have their own Google My Business listings that use the co-working space as their main address.
What about if there is 2 businesses at one address?
Again, officially the rule is you can have 1 business per address. Now, it gets a little bit different if it's like a shopping mall and you have different stores. If there are separate suites and separate signage, things like that, then you can be eligible for that listing. But again, go to the help center and either you find the answer there or you can contact support and they'll be able to help you figure out what options are available for your business.
A follow-up question from Matt Sofer for Google My Business. Is there a way to customize your hours to specify that you're only available certain days or to state that you should call first? Stasia?
Great question. Okay, so answer is yes and sort of. So now one of the things that I just talked about in the presentation is we now have the ability to add special hours. And so you first add your regular operating hours, and then let's say that you know that in December or the day after Thanksgiving you will be open late. You can go in there and set a specific date for that date and time, that upcoming date, that you will be open on a different set of hours. Now, if your schedule fluctuates every single week, you could theoretically go in there and set up special hours for the rest of the year if you wanted to do that. If you are an appointment-only business, then that is technically not regular operating hours. And so they would want you to set that as a service area business and not as a physical storefront, because the idea is that someone could go to your place of business and meet with someone who works there at any time. But if you're a massage therapist and there's no one there to answer the door because you're with a client, then you would be a service area business.
All right, I'm going to switch over to Ryan for this one. How do I get my business in the top of the search results? So we're going totally different track here.
Dun, 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 the $1 million question. Yeah, the earlier Stasia talked a lot about Google My Business, and I know we've talked about it today quite a bit, but Google My Business is probably the quickest and easiest way to help your local listing. Filling it out as completely as possible with as much correct information can quickly, put a lift there in that area. To look at the SEO side more holistically, I'd like to give more of an example of how Google fits into the bigger picture. You have Google trying to be the best search engine possible. They're trying to connect users with their search queries, what they want to find. So we're trying to help there. So the searchers give us their context in the search bar. Now we need you to help us provide that content that we can provide back to them. So that looks like going to your website, providing us with as much information that's relevant to your product or service. So that could be, building out your homepage, adding product information, things like adding photos, videos, anything that you can do to help make sure we have all of the great tools to connect it back to potential searchers. So it's a little bit vague, but I think you can sit down and break apart each of your services and think, how would someone be searching for me? What terms are they using? Do I have those terms actually on my website? So by starting down that path and really looking critically at your site, you'll be able to improve your SEO for sure.
Can I add one thing to that?
Great.
I agree with that 100%. I'm going to add one more bonus tool on top of that.
I like that. I like that.
Bonus tool, I really like Google Search Console. It used to be called Webmaster Tools, and it will help you do exactly what he said. You can actually set it up. It's free. It's at google.com/webmasters, and one of the reports will actually show you what keywords Google can extract from the web pages of your site. So you can take his tip and say, all right, here's all the content that I'm adding to my site, and then compare that to that report. And if you see that all of those words and phrases that are really important for your business are not appearing in your Search Console report, that tells you you've got some work to do. So it's another handy way to kind of get an inside look, like as if you were Google's algorithm at how they see your website.
Yeah, great tool.
We haven't talked too much about Google Search Console yet. How would a business find it?
Google.com/webmasters. So that's the URL where you get to it. It's a free tool, and you basically just need to connect it to your website. There's a few different ways to do that. Sometimes you can put a snippet of code on a web page to do that, but it's one of the handiest tools for SEO.
And another great part of Webmaster Tools and Google Search Console in general is, as it's now called, is it can show you things like, let's say that code or we aren't able to crawl a page. Once you've signed up, we can actually send you an email notification to let you know something's wrong, so you can get on and fix it. Also, right now, mobile is a huge area of concern for businesses. It'll help you know how mobile friendly your website is. So all of these are different components of that product that can help you overall, not just SEO, but even just managing a website in general.
I love Search Console.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's a free tool, so check it out.
Yeah.
We had a question from Barry Wells on Twitter. Can you show the last slide for 60 seconds want to copy sites provided? You can actually, Barry, go, if you're on gybo.com watching this from our website, you can download all of the slides directly underneath the live stream. So again, gybo.com if you're watching this on YouTube. And you can see the live stream playing. Underneath the live stream, there's a button to download the slides. And so you can get all of the URLs provided that way. Great question. Additionally, if anybody's just tuning in, use hashtag SmallBizSeason, that's BIZ, on social media to get any of your questions answered through this live Q&A right now. All right, a workshop attendee at a Newberry SBDC workshop says, how do I become a Google badged advertising partner? Stasia?
Well, you apply through the Google Partners program. So you can visit google.com/partners, and then there's a process for basically submitting an application for your business, your agency, whatever entity you represent. You can go through the site to see some of the requirements there. I'll tell you one of them is that you have to pass these fundamentals exams that demonstrate that you have up-to-date product knowledge with Google's advertising platforms. And there's different specialties. There's a search, there's mobile, there's display. What else is there? Is there video?
Video, I believe, is now on there.
Yeah, so there are different areas of expertise. But then once you've actually gone through and met all of the criteria for becoming a Google Partners, you get that badge, and your business is actually included in that searchable database that we referenced. So for example, if someone is looking for an expert in Nashville, Tennessee, they could theoretically find me in the Google Partners search because I'd be listed there.
And I love that process as well because it provides outside companies who might be interested in your services a little bit of credibility to know, hey, these people have gone through the trainings, Google has vetted them to some extent, and that's one of the great benefits from it. So that badge means a lot. And I know that badge can also be added to websites so that it's easy for you to show people that you have earned that credibility.
Additionally, we also talked about our partners who are trusted photographers. Can you explain a little bit, Stasia, about what that means, a trusted photographer, and how that's different from a Google advertising partner?
Okay, so trusted photographers are, again, they're not Google employees. They are people who have been certified by Google to use the Street View technology. And so what they will do is they will actually, through Google My Business, you can request a quote for a virtual tour, and then the photographers, you'll get up to 3 quotes of the nearest photographers. They will contact you and they'll provide you a quote for that virtual tour. Then you have the option to contract with them if you choose, and they will create that tour for you. What else can I tell you? If you want to see one of these, so I've already told you I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. One of our Google case studies is a business really close to me. It's called Jackalope Brewery. Hey, Jackalope. And so if you go to their Google My Business listing, you can actually see a demo of what this virtual tour would look like, and you can see the inside of the tap room and things like that. What else can we add to that?
And studies show that actually business listings with photos tend to get more direction requests. So it's a really great tool to take advantage of these Google Trusted Photographers and get these really clear and beautiful indoor shots of your business.
Yeah, they're really, really spectacular. I love how they look, and you can pan around and see what's inside.
Yeah. All right, so I verified my business, but I can't find it on Google Maps. What is the reason for this? Who would like to take this one?
I can do part of it. I know there's several reasons.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, right, yeah. We'll see what happens. Well, she can fill in. She's probably the better expert on this.
We'll tag team.
Yeah, I know when I used to work on a services team where we would answer questions like this for customers, and one of the big questions is, hey, I just submitted everything. I think I've checked everything off. Why am I not seeing it? We know that there's a bit of a delay there. So one of the big things is that you probably have done it right, and it takes a little time on our end to process that and then make sure it shows on your side. That's one of the big ones.
I'd give it, a few days upon that first verification before you might actually see it. The other thing, it might be, so let's say that I'm looking for my business in Nashville. Well, I'm in Mountain View. And so if I did a search for it here, it might not turn up because it's not a local business, because I'm in California and not in Tennessee. Another thing that might be true is if you just verified a business, let's go back to the bakery example. So you start a bakery, you create that listing, and you launch. Well, there might be, 20 other bakeries that have already had listings that have basically had a head start. And so you are going to have to basically work to get your listing up there to make it more relevant. And you can do that, like Whit said, by adding photos and getting your information up to date and really making the most out of that Google My Business listing. But it's going to be, a matter of the proximity and the relevance and factors like that.
All right, another Google My Business question. Okay. From Lompoc Valley Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau. Can you have 3 separate listings for different businesses under one Google account? The answer to that is yes. Stacia, you want to fill in the details?
Yes, you can have many under one account. So when you create your Google My Business listing, we walk through the process of doing that search on gybeo.com/business. But then once you've actually created that account, you will sign into it by visiting google.com/business. And from there, you'll see a big plus button, and you click that plus button, and then you can start that process to add additional businesses within that account. And all the steps are basically the same.
Yep, that way you can log into your Google account and find all of your businesses in one place and manage them all in one place. It makes it a lot easier because we know how tricky username and passwords can be.
Right. And I help one of my friends in Nashville she has a small day spa. And so I'm one of the managers on her account, and it's associated with mine. So even though I'm not an owner of her business, I'm a manager of her listing. So I can sign into my account and I can access her business information there and make updates for her if she asks me to do that. So that's another nice thing. I don't think we talked about permissions or ownership levels with Google My Business, so I'm going to throw that in if that's okay. So you have the listing, and when you create your listing, you're the owner. And then let's just say that, actually Whitney and I are co-owners. We have this business together. I now actually have the ability to create another owner account for her. So she could go in and she has all the same privileges that I would have, and I can transfer the primary ownership to her if she decides to take over. Now, Ryan, we just hired you. So you're not an owner yet, but we want him to get in there and have access to our listing and help make updates. So we can add him as a manager level. And the only thing he really can't do is he can't delete our listing, and he can't invite other people. The third level is called the communications manager. Let's just say that that's Ryan's intern.
There you go.
And so we want to give them limited access to the listing, and so we can give them that third level of access, which is going to give them the basics, but not give them the ability to delete anything.
Yeah, we hear from businesses a lot about sign-in issues. They say, somebody else verified my listing. It tends to be that somebody else is at the company currently. So this would solve a lot of headaches if people just go in and go ahead and right now, sitting there watching, add a few different managers on the account who should have access to these pages and be able to update these hours and add photos whenever you need to.
Yeah, if you own the business, have them transfer ownership to you, and then your coworkers can be managers, and that will save you headaches down the line.
Yep. I'm going to switch gears now and address a website question that we received. So Stacia talked about our free website offer through StartLogic, our partner, and it's a free website and domain name for free for 1 year. You can access that at gybo.com/business. You can scroll down to the bottom of the page and you see build a free website. The question was, is that site already mobile optimized? And the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. We know how important it is for businesses to be found by those customers that are looking on the go and how important it is to be mobile optimized in this day and age. So that free website is already ready, built for mobile. So great, great question. Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and take it to you for, do you think YouTube is a good marketing channel for a small business to invest time in?
I absolutely do. YouTube is a phenomenal place to access a whole new audience. We know that it's one of the in fact, I think it's our second largest search engine currently that's in the world. And what's so great is it's a totally different type of advertising. It's more immersive. People are able to hear your story, hear what interests you, what your passions are. So especially for small and medium businesses, a lot of the draw is your story, your connection with the audience. And I think sometimes a text ad can't portray that as well as video content. Also, a lot of times video advertising can be somewhat cheaper cost per click. There's not as many people there, and it's a great entry level. Also, we know that for YouTube, they're working hard to help make it easier for small and medium businesses to make video content. For some of you, it might be difficult. I don't have a fancy camera. I don't have, a director who can tell us how to do it, or actors. So YouTube has gone ahead with the Director for Businesses app and made scripts, simple structures that you can follow to create really high quality video content, which is just a great tool that you can use if you're interested in getting started.
Do you have anything to add to that? I know you think YouTube is a pretty valid channel.
Yeah, it's pretty important. I mean, it's about a third of the internet is now using YouTube on a regular basis. So it's like billions of hours of video every day. And so Ryan touched on video advertising, but another thing you can do is create a free channel for your business. And that channel can be really focused it doesn't have to be focused on advertising. It can really be a resource. You can think about it as a video library. And like you said, the production level doesn't have to be like the
professional.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it could really, every single cell phone out there, almost every cell phone out there has a video camera built right into it now. So it could be you talking to your customers, your clients, and explaining how to do something. One of the interesting stats I read about was the rising popularity of unboxing videos. It was something like 4 out of 5 consumers today have watched an unboxing video. For anyone out there who's not familiar, it's a video that shows someone taking a new product out of a box and setting it up. And that might actually be, that's such an easy thing for anyone to do. Like, oh, you bought this, let us show you how to do it. Let's show you how to set it up. Let's show you how to use it. So if you're looking for content, there's lots of ideas out there that you can put on your free YouTube channel.
So @Ruli on Twitter asked any ideas for tips on how to create a cool YouTube video for my business. You kind of already answered that, but anything else? Any other tips for creating a cool video?
I kind of touched on this a little bit. People's stories for these small and medium businesses are awesome. It could be something as simple as introducing yourself to your customers, telling them how you came to making this business, why it's important to you, what your passions are. Some people have a really cool location that they think, wow, if someone could see this, if they could come and experience this service, they would love what we have to offer. So I think even just telling your story and sharing your passion through video could be a great entry.
And at the risk of you losing an entire day getting sucked in and watching amazing video content, look at what other companies are doing. I mean, I'm not going to name some, but there's some pretty big examples of really big campaigns that have gone viral that you can go in and watch and get ideas about what can connect with people, what kinds of images and stories connect with people that can really help promote your brand or your business online.
Yeah, I love those Will It Blend videos. They're very low cost production. They just throw something in a blender and blend it up, and tons of people are watching these videos. So just think about how you can get creative and tell your story or share your products, and people might be interested in watching. We have a question from Texas International Motors on Twitter. negative reviews. We need to talk about negative reviews on Google My Business. We know we encourage you to get reviews from your customers, and occasionally negative reviews happen. They say, what if you know someone that's not your customer leaves you a negative review? How can you control that? Seja?
Okay. So, and we get this question from just
all the
about
time.
Every single business owner. It is going to be far more beneficial to your business to encourage happy customers to write reviews than to worry about the occasional negative review. You know, in the reality, there are two types of customers. People who are so happy with you that they took the time to go and write that review, and then there'll be the occasional disgruntled person. And even if you're, even in a perfect world, it's difficult to avoid that, and every business owner will probably run into that at some point. One of the nice things about Google My Business is that once you've verified that listing, you actually have the opportunity, the option to log in and to write a response to every review. And you can kind of think of this as customized, publicized customer service, and that the response that you write to a negative review is going to be just as valuable as, in some cases, as a response to a good review. So it might be that you outline the policy, it might be that you issue an apology, it might be that you just come across and you explain why this happened, but this is your chance to present that professional response to it. Again, I would say that if the majority of your reviews were positive, I wouldn't worry about an occasional negative review because every single business has one. In fact, it kind of makes you almost seem like more real, right?
Yeah, and that's my thought is, people want to trust these reviews.
Right.
And to keep the integrity of the entire review platform, let's say an angry next door business wants to write something, fake, and they get their second aunt to write that review. I mean, that's still important to show that, yeah, people can. If someone were angry, they could find a way to share it. And like you said, if you're a good business, you get an overall aggregate score. Hopefully that's reflected and you can respond to those. But I think it would almost be more suspicious if someone wasn't able to do that and people thought, oh, geez, this company is just showing the best parts. What is the holistic picture?
Oh, and I forgot to mention, you can't delete a review just because they say negative things about you. The only way that you can attempt to get a review removed is if it violates one of Google's content editorial policies. And there is a little flag icon that you can click next to it if you believe it does in fact violate a policy. The majority of the time, really, the best step is to do a polite, professional, short and sweet, courteous response to whatever people are saying. And I for the reviews that I work with, I thank them for both the good and for the less than good comments.
Positivity rules.
It does.
I like that. All right, Waiko Chamber and Tourism asked, how much is the free website after the first free year? Great question. The domain name is $15 for the whole year, depending on the extension that you get, like .com, .biz, .org. And the website is $5 per month after that first free year. I got that right, Seja?
I think it's $5.99.
$6.
What I would do is I would go, because Google doesn't actually control that pricing, so we say go to StartLogic's website and they will have the full pricing details there. But if you go to gybo.com/business, from there we have an FAQ, actually we have an FAQ section, and there's a whole build a free website part in the FAQs, which include links to StartLogic's information connected to this offer. So I would say let's punt and say it's because it's the other companies that's controlling this pricing.
gybo.com/FAQ will take you and you can go to the StartLogic section.
$6.
All right, so we are out of time. So I will go ahead and ask you one last question, which is, if you met a small business today who is brand new to the internet, just starting out, what is one thing that you think they should focus on right off the bat that's going to help grow their online presence? Ryan?
I think it would be, don't be timid. The whole world of advertising can feel pretty overwhelming at first. If you've never, maybe you've just got a website, maybe you just did your, Google My Business listing, there's a lot to think about. And I think it does take a little bit of courage to get in there and do it, but I think by taking those steps, you can have incredible success. And I've heard so many companies who AdWords or advertising or GMB has become what sort of saved their business and given them a whole new way to reach customers and kind of bring their dreams to life. So I know it's possible, and I think, with courage, you can make it happen too.
Stasia?
What would I do? I would say be methodical and don't let yourself be overwhelmed, because today we talked about 3 things that you can do, but we could have made this presentation the 50 things that you can do. And so just take a step back, and you don't have to do everything today. So start with the things that you can accomplish. Google My Business is an easy one. I mean, you can have that up and live in just a few minutes when you start your verification process. But make a list of the things that are important to you and to your business, and just methodically work through them and figure out, okay, if I'm going to be working on my website, I'm also going to have a plan that this is how often I'm going to update it. So just start growing it and create that plan that you can realistically manage. And it's not a set it up and forget about it thing. You need to think about your online presence as something that grows and changes and shares your business with you as your business grows.
And I will add one more of my own. Think about your customers. Think about where your customers will be searching for you, what they want to know. You might not need everything we talk about or all of these tools to grow your business, but think about what you do need and spend the time there making sure that customer experience is really superb. Thank you both so much for coming to this Q&A and for helping me take all of these questions.
Thank you, Whitney.
Your time was invaluable.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And thank you to all the small businesses out there watching and all the partners hosting workshops. We are so excited that you tuned in today. And anybody watching after this, thank you for tuning in as well. I hope that this was helpful for you. And on behalf of the entire Let's Put Our Cities on the Map team, I wish you great success growing your business this holiday season and beyond.